Hello and welcome to another video on my Web API.NET Basics series. So as always, go ahead and follow me on GitHub, visit my website, and email me if you have any questions. Now, in this video, this is the fifth video, so I'm doing a series of quick videos, just to make sure that all the things that I am using during this series, you also have similar things with you as well. Otherwise, when I do something and you don't have it, then you won't be able to follow along with me. And today in this video, we are talking about the Azure portal and in general, Azure services. Obviously, the first step is you need to have an Azure account, and there are a couple of things you need to know. Now, this could be a irrelevant issue for some folks or most folks, but it could be a major problem for some students. Now, why is that? Now, let me give you an example. So right now, there is such a thing called as Vercel. So if I go here to my Firefox, and if I log in to my Vercel account, you see there's a lot of projects. Although I'm not a big front-end guy, I do teach a lot of front-end. So I do a lot of stuff that I do. So if I go here, I have a lot of projects here. I go and then I'm going to say, let me see, sort by activity. And I'll go to this one, Bootstrap Starter. Let me see, which is NASA APOD, something that, oh, there you go. The very, very simple project. Oh, almost 2 years ago. Right. Let me just open something simple. Hold on. Yeah, there it is. NASA APOD, and voila. I don't know if it's still there. Yeah, there you go. Okay. So I have this project, okay, which is here on my GitHub. It's a front-end project. It's a front-end, back-end, Vercel. And you can see here that this project is deployed. Okay, it has a database, it has a login. I can log in, and it has a CI/CD, continuous integration and continuous deployment from GitHub. So if I make any changes, it gets immediately deployed and everything. And it's logging in, there you go. The database is working, obviously. And then if I go here to invoices, there's a lot of invoices. I can search for stuff and all that. And there you go. It's work. There you go. It works. I can go ahead. I can edit details. I can click on edit. I can change the name to Lee, and then I can say the amount I can change to 99, and I can click on edit invoice, and it should get saved. Well, there you go. It got saved. Lee Robinson, everything is changed. So it works, right? So it works. It's deployed on the cloud. It uses databases. I get a web app and everything, which is great. And the best part is, if I go back to my Vercel account, I go to account settings, and if I go to billing, I'll see that I don't even have a payment method. Right? So no payment method. Now this is of significance for a lot of students because you can do deployment. You can get a nice looking web app deployed. Look at this. You can open it on your mobile, tablet, wherever you want, and it's great. You get free databases. You can integrate with the GitHub and all that. So which is really, really cool. But that's not how Azure works, though. Okay, now my understanding is, now I remember, way back in 2012, I remember trying to sign up for Azure. They did give me a lot of free stuff. Azure is free for the first year or something like that, and for students, I think it's free for 2 years. I don't know. Look, the offers, but the point is, there is a free trial, there is free services, there is all that. But at the end of the day, even to use the free services, again, I could be wrong, but I'm just telling my experience. You still need to put a card somewhere in your Azure account. Maybe if you're a student, you have your student ID or something, things are different or something, but it doesn't matter. Ultimately, eventually, whatever you want to do, you would have to put a card in the file, even if you are only using free services. So now this creates issues for some students. I have seen some students who are unable to obtain a credit card, or they may have a card and they are not able to get it from their parent. They may not have a card, they may have a parent's card or something. Obviously, that creates a lot of financial issues. I cannot talk about that. So but something to remember by. So if you are facing this credit card challenge, then I don't have a solution for you, right? I remember when I started in 2012 with Azure development, I did not have a credit card. I mean, I didn't have anything back then. So what I did was, I was really obsessed with learning Azure because I know there's a lot of money to be made over there. So what I did was, I started calling up anybody who has ever been my friend. I must have called some 10, 15 people, like literally calling them and telling them to give me their credit card details so that I can learn Azure. It was a very awkward conversation, and it was also something which was very rude and not the way to go about it, because that almost sounds like I'm trying to scam them or something. Right? But eventually, one of my friend, he said he trusts me enough, and he gave me his card, and I was able to activate the free service. And of course, not everything was free. And every month, what my friend would do is he would send me a message, or he would just give me a call, and he would tell me that, hey man, this month you have used this much, because Azure bill would go. I would also get a copy of the bill, and he would get a deduction on his credit card, and I would just give him cash or send the money to him. And of course, we did like that for almost like a year or two, and eventually I was able to get my own credit card. And obviously now I have multiple credit cards, and getting a new card is no longer a challenge for someone like me, for which I'm very grateful. So that's the first thing you might face about Azure services. Now this is again important, because a lot of things that we are doing is dependent on Azure. In fact, the first project is 90% local development, but still, it does have an Azure component, an Azure service bus, Azure queues, and things like that. And obviously, when we start deploying things, again, we have to use Azure. And of course, the second project that I told you about, the file management, the photo management project, is completely about Azure. The project won't run unless you have access to an Azure account. So if you don't have an Azure account and you can't get it activated for limitation that I just discussed, or other limitation which I don't know about, then I'm sorry. There's no point in you continuing. You can still watch out of curiosity, but if you can't practice, then I always ask myself, if you can't practice something, then what's the point of doing it or learning about it? You learn something and you can't do it, then why bother? Anyway, so there you go. That's like a non-technical thing I wanted to talk about, because this is a real issue. This is a real issue, an issue I faced, and I solved it in a very bizarre way because I didn't have a choice. Things were very, 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 very terrible for me when I go back to 2012. I'm not saying things are too better now, but compared to then, sure, things are definitely better now. And for which, again, I'm very thankful to my friends and family and, divinity and stuff like that. All right then, so that's the first thing I want to talk about. Now, the next thing is, you should know some basics of Azure portal. So let's go ahead and do that. You should be able to do at least this much. So go ahead and log in to your, Azure portal. So you should be able to do that. Let me just get a new window here. Let me just bring it up on this one, and these Windows things, man, come on. Okay, so let me go to portal.azure.com. Okay, sign in. It takes a few seconds to load. Okay, there you go. So now this is the Azure dashboard. Okay, I already have some services there. I told you I'm working on some computer recognition, speech recognition, translated services. So I'm paying for it. I have a subscription called Pay As You Go. So I do pay amount. Every month I get a bill and I take care of it and stuff like that. So this is the Azure portal. Now, obviously, we'll be creating things that will happen on that video. But for now, in this video, this is something you should be able to do, and you should be able to create resources. So please remember that, and please do think about the challenges that you might face if you have this problem. If you don't have it, I'm very happy for you. But if you don't have it, you have to figure out a way to solve it. All right. Okay. So that's all there is to it.